Andrew Huberman is a prominent cognitive neuroscience figure known for his insightful perspectives. Recently, Huberman made a surprising discovery related to the well-known technology mogul Bill Gates. Bill Gates requires little introduction, as his influence spans the globe. He's highly regarded for his innovative ideas and his philanthropic efforts. Gates has made a significant impact on numerous causes worldwide. However, Andrew Huberman has raised some doubts about the extent of Gates' influence. Why does he mention a permanent lockdown, or a covert plan to keep us at home indefinitely? In recent years, the concept of a lockdown has become a prevalent part of our lives due to various health crises. So let's make this clear with some statistics. According to data, there have been about 1,500 lockdowns globally in the last 5 years. These lockdowns have been in response to several health emergencies, including the COVID-19 pandemic, which alone accounted for over 60% of them. Lockdowns are serious decisions made by governments in a bid to protect public health. They occur when there's a rapid increase in disease cases, such as things that we've seen with pandemics like SARS, H1N1, and COVID-19. Historically, we faced around 6 major pandemics in the last century. Each has varied in impact and response. For instance, the Spanish flu in 1918 infected nearly a third of the world's population. The more recent H1N1 flu in 2009 resulted in between 151,700 and 575,400 deaths. That was worldwide in the first year. It's important to remember that lockdowns are temporary measures. They're not a permanent lifestyle or anything. While they can feel limiting, they are a tool to slow down disease spread and save lives. Given the severity of past pandemics and the frequent use of lockdowns in recent years, it's not surprising that people might worry about a permanent lockdown. But the aim is always to return to normal quickly and safely. His insights prompt us to question the intentions of influential figures and emphasize the importance of remaining vigilant. Huberman urges us not to blindly revere individuals in positions of power, but to seek truth despite any discomfort it might bring. In an interconnected world, we gotta be cautious of plans that could jeopardize all of our freedoms, right? Huberman's statements serve as a crucial reminder to stay alert and stay informed. By shedding light on Gates' alleged machinations, Huberman has initiated a vital conversation. This dialogue encourages us to re-examine power dynamics, to continue questioning, and again, to stay well-informed. The revelations might be disconcerting, but the act of exposing them demonstrates the resilience of human cognition. Wary of countless conspiracies, Bill Gates invites his critics to evaluate him based on his actions. So, to understand his perspective, you gotta delve into his book, which outlines his strategies for handling potential future pandemics. The practicality and feasibility of his advice are essential considerations. Gates envisions a future rooted in strategies that have proven effective in recent times, such as restricting contact with outsiders, sealing borders, and promptly declaring emergencies, followed by a gradual easing of these rules. He recounts regular discussions with Dr. Anthony Fauci during the peak of the pandemic, who recommended swift and significant responses, along with a careful resumption of normal activities. Gates argues that substantial investments are necessary to strengthen global public infrastructure, to enhance universal vaccine production, and establish a global pandemic emergency response unit for tracking potential outbreaks. His ultimate aim is to ensure that everyone is vaccinated twice or more within 6 months, while implementing lockdown measures to curb the spread of new diseases. At first glance, these suggestions may appear kinda rational. However, they only really seem feasible to those who haven't experienced the reality of lockdowns, such as those working remotely or the affluent with spacious homes for comfortable confinement. While examining the remaining aspects of Gates' approach, we must seek a clearer understanding and explanation. Financial considerations play a crucial role in realizing Gates' vision. Who's going to bear those colossal costs? While the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation has already invested over $2 billion in the battle against the pandemic, primarily funded by Gates' personal fortune, this amount pales in comparison to the $6 billion that the government spent on the Moderna vaccine alone. Gates asserts that the private sector harbors the world's best talent for commercializing research. According to him, the government should sponsor groundbreaking research and foster an environment conducive to innovative ideas. In essence, private firms and their investors should reap the rewards from government-funded product development. However, the practical implementation of this approach remains vague. For example, Gates' explanation regarding the antiviral molnupiravir merely mentions that Merck and his partners developed it. This drug gained approval as a COVID-19 treatment in November 2021, and it garnered significant attention. Gates leaves us yearning for more precise details. Who's going to bear the financial burden? How's that approach going to work in practice? These questions still remain unanswered. Merck, a famous pharmaceutical company, didn't create molnupiravir. In fact, this drug was the outcome of a huge $19 million gift from the NIAID, an agency run by Dr. Fauci and other U.S. government departments. This money was originally given for the purpose of making medicines for horses. So it's pretty surprising when you learn that researchers from Harvard and King's College London figured out that each pill could be produced for just $17.74, and yet, when it went on sale, each full treatment cost an astonishing $712. What is that? So, you do the math, that means that's about a 4,000% profit more than the cost of making the actual medicine. And then there's another key medicine, remdesivir, which was the #1 treatment for COVID-19 in the US. Gilead Sciences, another big drug company, gave us this medicine. It brought hope for people who were very sick and might need to go to the hospital. But there's actually a twist in the story. Gates, who closely examined the use of remdesivir, didn't tell us everything. He missed out on mentioning a very important study. This study was published in a reputable journal called The Lancet in May 2020. It suggested that remdesivir might not have as many benefits as we thought. Plus, the study was stopped early because the drug was causing harmful effects. What's more, it's striking to notice how much this medicine cost. Gilead Sciences spent just $10 trying to make each dose, but guess what? The American public ended up paying $3,120. Bing, 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 we win the prize. That's a lot of money. So while these medicines were promising, their stories also raise questions about how much they cost and whether they're as beneficial as they seem. Maybe Gates is unaware of these controversies or the potential profiteering facilitated by taxpayer money. Although he is primarily a software engineer, his beliefs can carry significant influence. Gates believes that technology can solve all problems. Many people agree, and they use digital tools happily. After COVID-19, Gates imagines a future where people can choose their own work hours and go to the office when they want. In this future, people even attend meetings as a 3D computer character. But not everyone might like this digital dream. Through his writings, Gates tries to share his knowledge, to show it. Yet, it often seems like his ideas fail. He says he doesn't want to be a politician, but he does still make big plans for how the world should be run. He promises that he doesn't want to be elected, mostly because he doesn't want to be responsible if things, go wrong. So still, his ideas can have a big influence. In these confusing times, Bill Gates is seen as a kind and forgiving person. But as the gap between the rich and the poor grew bigger during the pandemic, people started to get upset. Gates promises to use his wealth to help make things fairer, to quote-unquote, make the world a fairer place. Gates knows that the poorest people, who were already struggling, suffered the most during the pandemic, especially because of the lockdowns. But he also says that if we had done what Australia did, we could have stopped the pandemic. This goes against what he said before. So it's important to watch Gates carefully and judge him by what he does, not by what he says. While hope may seem elusive in the midst of despair here, Gates envisions an immediate lockdown triggered by the next major outbreak to prevent another global pandemic. A lot of people express concerns about the long-lasting impact of global lockdowns. And in the last 50 years, the World Health Organization has discovered 1,500 new germs that can cause diseases, showing that Bill Gates is right about future failures being likely. Before the COVID-19 pandemic, there were already 3 major outbreaks: SARS in 2003, avian flu in 2005, and swine flu in 2009. In each case, experts predicted a lot of deaths, and the world had to be shut down for about 6 months, which matches what Bill Gates predicted. Bill Gates believed that in order for us to be able to prevent future outbreaks, people needed to be willing to make sacrifices and to not care about social status. However, we should ask if he understands the difficulties that children in places like Angola faced during the lockdown of 2020. They had to stay inside for 7 long months, and Gates seemed to overlook the fact that not all children have access to technology for online learning, especially in deprived areas like Mumbai. Can you really understand what it's like to be stuck in an apartment in New York, Shanghai, or London for months? Especially with young children making it even harder. In Gates' vision, collaboration among creative scientists leads to discussions that find solutions to global problems. He often has important conversations while he's eating, and he believes in funding research that encourages unexpected interactions, so he also wants to use technology to change the way that we live as humans. Despite people doubting him, Bill Gates may have had good intentions and genuinely want to help others. There's a saying that good intentions can sometimes lead to bad outcomes, or was it the road to hell is paved with good intentions, I believe? But that doesn't mean Gates is involved in any conspiracy theories, mind you. Some people find it interesting that Gates is concerned about population growth, considering his wealth. However, it's unlikely that he intends to harm humanity by using vaccines to control fertility or control minds or cause harm under the guise of COVID-19 vaccines. Some people even suggest that Gates and other powerful groups like the United Nations created the pandemic to reduce the global population. These theories often revolve around the Great Reset, which was originally a program by the World Economic Forum to help the world recover from the pandemic. Although the narratives differ, most conspiracy theories involve Bill Gates, the United Nations, and the Davos meeting. Or Davos. Have you ever wondered about the remarkable mission that Bill and Melinda Gates are on? Their foundation is committed to improving lives all over the world, particularly in the area of reproductive health and rights. Their impactful work involves providing important family planning services, helping millions of people make informed decisions about their futures. The Gates Foundation doesn't stop there, though. It has committed enormous resources to vaccine initiatives, which are lifelines in our ongoing battles against numerous diseases. Bill Gates has frequently emphasized the significance of population management through improved healthcare. In a 2010 TED Talk, this entrepreneur highlighted the intriguing link between climate emissions and global population, positing that advances in vaccines, healthcare, and reproductive health services could positively influence both areas. The mention of vaccines being good at saving lives and how they might affect population control might make people wonder if there's something hidden behind it. But actually, there's actually a more positive side to it, fortunately. So some studies suggest that when vaccines are more available, that can lead to fewer women having children, on average, which is called lower fertility rates. When more kids survive because of vaccines, people don't feel the need to have big families anymore out of fear that their children might die. At least that's what Bill Gates and his foundation say. They explained in 2014 that when diseases that can be prevented by vaccines are not a big threat anymore, people tend to have fewer children. So basically, the idea is that if parents have access to vaccines and their kids are healthier, then they don't feel the need to have lots of children. But some people think that maybe that's just another way to control the population and make everyone easier to control. Like, if there are fewer people, it's easier for those in power to control everything. But that's just one opinion, and there might be other reasons behind the idea of lower fertility rates. When parents have the choice to control the size of their families because of better healthcare, it positively impacts the health and the opportunities of their children. Some conservatives who oppose population control measures have become involved in conspiracy theories related to the pandemic. They view reproductive health services as a hidden way of promoting certain measures. However, expanding reproductive health care, which includes access to birth control, can actually help reduce the need for extreme measures. Those who disagree with population control should consider supporting organizations that protect women's rights and promote family planning. Now, let us shift our attention towards growth and the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. In 2015, the UN launched Agenda 2030, an ambitious initiative to address humanity's most significant challenges, like poverty, inequality, and climate change. The SDGs, consisting of 17 targets, were established to achieve these goals. However, conspiracy theorists have given their own interpretations and labeled these goals as a secret plan for reducing the global population. They misuse the term Agenda 2021, which actually refers to an earlier version of the initiative launched in 1992 at the Rio Conference on Environment and Development. This perspective is, at the very least, quite puzzling. Agenda 2030 delivers a strong message. Our planet is struggling due to a growing population, excessive consumption, and endless production. Surprisingly, it fails to provide a specific plan for managing population growth. This significant omission is also evident in the SDGs, prompting Population Matters to conduct a thorough study on the links between population growth, the SDGs, and the urgent need for effective solutions. In an effort to emphasize the practical steps outlined in the SDGs, such as empowering women and girls through access to family planning and education, Population Matters created an animated video. It exceeded expectations, and it became our second most watched video. However, the comments on YouTube revealed a disturbing reality. The increased viewership was primarily due to the spread of unfounded conspiracy theories, rather than a genuine interest in sustainable development. This distortion of the United Nations sustainability efforts originates from various sources. With its global perspective, the UN has long faced criticism. Some perceive it as attempting to become a world government, quote-unquote. Suspicion towards authority figures, including scientists and elites, has always existed. Populist politicians further exploit these fears and misunderstandings amongst certain sections of the population for their personal gain. The issue at hand is what actions are being taken to address the increasing population. Are permanent restrictions being considered as a solution? Our planet is experiencing an overwhelming increase in the number of people inhabiting it. This growth, I don't probably need to tell you, is a major concern. It could lead to problems for both humanity and many of the other species that share the Earth with us. If we do nothing, experts predict that the total number of people on Earth could reach a massive 11 billion by the end of this century. Mind-boggling. Truly. As our population continues to rise, progress on various sustainable development goals is faltering. Disturbing statistics indicate that approximately 270 million women worldwide lack access to modern family planning methods. If population growth continues at the current pace, this number's just gonna go up. Additionally, nearly half of women in less economically prosperous countries lack the ability to make decisions about their own bodies, their own lives. Since 2014, more and more people are going hungry. They're not getting all the food that they need to actually to stay healthy, to be not malnourished. Andrew Huberman may have an answer to this problem: intermittent fasting. Right, it's strange, but intermittent fasting is an eating pattern that involves restricting food consumption to specific hours of the day. Huberman's been practicing this approach for 10 years and discussed it with Derek Cole, who runs the popular YouTube channel More Plates, More Dates. Cole gained fame for receiving emails suggesting that the Liver King, a prominent health advocate, uses steroids, which he did. Anyways, Huberman revealed, for the last 10 years, I fasted 12 to 16 hours every day. Typically, he skips breakfast and he eats his first meal around noon. His meals are low in carbohydrates, often consisting of steak or ground beef, some Brazil nuts and vegetables, and whatnot. Intermittent fasting's gained a lot of attention in recent years due to its potential benefits, which go beyond weight loss. While weight management is one advantage, Huberman focuses on the broader health benefits of this eating pattern. He discusses the positive effects of intermittent fasting on insulin utilization, blood pressure, body wear and tear, and inflammation reduction in one of his podcasts. Intermittent fasting's not a new concept. It's been practiced for centuries. However, its potential benefits have garnered significant attention in recent years. While weight loss is a common goal, many other advantages are associated with intermittent fasting, such as overall health and well-being. What sets intermittent fasting apart is that it doesn't solely care about what you eat, but also when you eat. The goal is to limit the hours which you consume food, giving your body a break from constant digestion, and that can yield numerous benefits. I do it, so side note, it doesn't matter what you eat, but you will end up eating less. You think, oh, I'm just gonna cram all my food into that hours, and no, you just won't eat as much. It'll actually stop you in that way. So it's kind of an unintended benefit of it too. But anyways, in Huberman's typical day, breakfast is skipped, and he follows his morning routine without consuming food until about noon. His first meal of the day is often low in carbohydrates, with a focus on protein-rich foods like steak or ground beef, accompanied by nuts and vegetables. Now, this kind of meal can help stabilize energy levels and provide essential nutrients for the body. However, Huberman's goal with intermittent fasting is not solely about physical appearance. He doesn't do it to be good looking, to attain a six-pack. Instead, his primary objective is to improve overall health. According to him, intermittent fasting could be a powerful tool in achieving this goal. Huberman's podcast delves into the various ways in which intermittent fasting can enhance your health. It improves insulin utilization, a hormone that regulates blood sugar levels. It also helps lower blood pressure, a crucial aspect of heart health. Additionally, it reduces oxidative stress, which refers to cellular damage, and decreases inflammation, the body's response to injury or disease. Intermittent fasting can be an effective approach for improving health and well-being. However, it is important to consult the healthcare professionals or registered dietitians before significantly changing your eating patterns. Sometimes that stuff ain't good for you. While Huberman's insights on intermittent fasting provide a potential solution to the issues of population growth and food scarcity, it's crucial to approach these topics with a comprehensive and a multifaceted perspective. Addressing these global challenges will require dietary modifications and broader systemic changes, such as sustainable agricultural practices, equitable distribution of resources, and just access to education and family planning. The issues surrounding influential figures like Bill Gates and the challenges of population growth require careful analysis. They require some just critical thinking. It's essential to evaluate information from reliable sources and approach discussions with an open mind. Doing so can foster informed conversations that contribute to a more sustainable and equitable world.